Hello everyone, my name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather daily to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today with us, Angel Ribo, CEO consultant, TV host, international public speaker, and president of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation, is going to be co-hosting with the wonderful Sunny Chase. Sunny is not only the host of the show, but also the host of ABC Solutionary Sundays. She is the feature writer and chief strategist for Whole Life Times magazine, the longest running conscious life magazine in America. Sunny is a producer, moderator, and a mythbuster. Before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia's mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world, and you can help us by subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down this video, or sharing it with someone that is going to benefit of the content that we're going to be talking here today. Also, while we are live streaming, like right now, we have the active chat, the screen that you're going to be seeing here on my side or under the video if you're seeing us from a smartphone. Through there, you can interact with us. You can ask your questions. We just please ask you to follow the format, word question in caps, and the actual question in relation to the conversation that we're going to be having today. We also want you to collaborate with us with your own valuable content. For that, you can go to our website. On the top, you're going to find a link. It says Collaborate with Mindalia. That website is going to take you to a form that you can fill out, and our technical team will be getting in contact with you. Remember that you can collaborate with Mindalia in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. We broadcast daily in Portuguese through Mindalia Televisão and in Spanish through Mindalia Televisión, and you're going to be seeing their content as beautiful and as interesting as the one that you see daily on Mindalia TV. We're not going to delay this any further, and we are going to leave you with Angel and Sunny. Guys, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Mirna, for this wonderful introduction. And what an historic moment today. Sunny, welcome to Mindalia TV.
It is an historic moment today, and I am playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow because this is what we know that we are doing today with gathering our Solo Amor Capitol Hill, Only Love Capitol Hill, for our 116th Congress that is being sworn in this very day at noon in DC on Capitol Hill. And this will be for the returning as well as the new freshmen that are coming in. And I love that word freshmen because freshmen and women, because they are fresh, they are ready, they are up to the new and improved task that we so desperately need in America, which of course trickles all over the world. Do you mind if I read a quote from Marianne Williamson as an endorsement for this day?
Please, go ahead.
She says, in our conversation that we had about this, she said, the reason liberty, democracy, and freedom matter is with these qualities, they allow us to take our wingspan as high and as wide as the natural intelligence within us can make it. The most fundamental question we can ask of ourselves this very day is, how can we serve with the sincerest impact? What is truly mine to do? By being concerned with something bigger than ourselves, we raise our vibrational frequency. And then she also said, which I love this part, we raise the tenor of our own existence and the society we live in. That's what you guys are doing today. So, wow. Amen, Marianne.
Exactly. And so it is. And so it is. It's so
He's true. The coolest.
Absolutely. So, it's January 3rd, 2019. It's a historic moment for the country, for us, for Mindalia TV. Sunny from California, Mirna from Florida, and myself from Texas. And it's a very, special moment for all of us because, as she said it very, very well, when we actually intend for something which is larger than ourselves, we increase our frequency, we increase our energy, and we contribute to the good of everybody, and that's extremely, extremely important.
Well, yes, and I think that the importance that I know, the reason that we even decided to do this, and thank you all of you guys who are joining us, and we will be doing our concentrated intentional meditation in about 20 minutes. And there are many, many people, Angel, and for you guys out there listening and watching to know that aren't necessarily with us on the show today, but are all over the country and the world who have, through Mindalia TV and through me and through you, Angel, of course, and then our friends have sent out this Solo Amor Capital Hill love for today. And you know, the thing that we know, the reason that we were so raised to do this, or that I felt so kind of an obligation rose out of me to I don't want to use the word combat, but, you know, be the antidote to the negativity and the divisiveness and just the demonizing of politics and politicians in our country. Because really in America, we have a pretty good system. It's not perfect, but it's among the best. And in the way that it was designed, it doesn't always work that way. That's part of the problem. And so I thought, gosh, I really want people to know where we come from. And I thought that I did this article, as you know, We the People of the Iroquois Nation, the Haudenosaunee, the oldest living participatory democracy on earth, is where we got a lot of our constitutional aspects, even our symbols of the eagle and the feathers and the Supreme Court. So there are 117 in there, and I wanted to read one, and I'll read a couple as we go through the show, but with your indulgence. Number 24 of the 117 articles in the Confederacy is this: the lords of the Confederacy of the 5 nations, their hearts shall be full of peace and goodwill, and their minds filled with a yearning for the welfare of the people of the Confederacy. Carrying out their duty and their fairness shall be tempered with a tenderness for their people. So that is what we are doing today, right? This is what we're knowing, that our people who are our people who are for us are going to be having the hearts today. That's what our prayer is, one of them.
Exactly. Tenderness. What a beautiful word. Tenderness. Tenderness. You know, it would be amazing to hear this word tenderness like daily on our, you know, political differences and discussions. Tenderness for the people. Tenderness for the people, for all of us, for everybody. That's beautiful. Why would you say those 117? Do you think they are as well known as they should be?
No, and I think most people don't know that the founding fathers, what they didn't know was what they didn't want. Like, they knew what they didn't want, but they didn't know what they did want. They knew they didn't want tyranny. They knew they didn't want overly taxation. They knew that they didn't want to be a people who sort of take over other people and impose their opinions on other people. They knew they wanted to have the ability for people to pray and worship in their own ways, however they felt, and that was not something that the government should, talk about. They knew they wanted freedom, but they didn't know really how to put that together. And so they did look at the Greeks. They did look at the Middle Eastern. They looked at many places, but right in their in their neighborhood were the chieftains. And the Iroquois nation came together because there were 5 nations that came together. We might call them tribes. They were nations. The Seneca, there were 5 of them, and they were having problems, warring and this or that. And so they came together and they decided to create this confederacy. And it deals with, our Constitution has 7 articles, and then we have 27 amendments, and the top 10 are the Bill of Rights. And gosh, when you read that, you think that's pretty, it covers a lot of aspects of like what could go wrong, what could go right, all kinds of things like that. In these articles from so many years ago, it's possible it started in the 1700s. It's possible it started in the 1400s. There's debate about that historically, but it certainly was before our Constitution. And they went into consideration of everything: how to bury people, how to have divorce, how that works, immigration, if someone is not working well in their leadership. We have the Supreme Court that came from the women elders that they created in the Confederacy, the Iroquois Confederacy, a group of women elders who were the moral compass that watched everything. And when things weren't going as to plan, they would nudge, they would give warnings and this sort of thing. And then when it was really the young leader was not doing well, they would literally just take them out and replace them. So that's where our Supreme Court came from. So that is where it's supposed to be completely neutral, completely for, again, the moral compass above it all, like the eagles looking at the people and knowing what is right with no personal agenda. So, yeah, I do feel that more people should know so that we can expect the best from our people that we vote for.
Absolutely. Let me ask you something, because we would like to help as many people as possible. Where can we find those articles, those 117? Where can we find
actually,
them?
you can read, you can read, this is my article, actually it's 2 pages, but this is in the Whole Life Times. You can read it. And it's in the Whole Life Times, which is the January, this is, June, July article. But you actually
2018? 2018?
2018, June, July. In Whole Life Times, it is, you can Google it and just Google my name, Sunny Chase, to read my article. But you can also you can Google it. I mean, you can Google the Iroquois Confederacy, the Iroquois Nation. And I had stacks and stacks of papers everywhere researching this. The one thing I want to say to you, Angel, though, when I was researching it and I was asked to do this, I thought, gosh, I'm not a historian. I'm not a Native American. Why is this my, voice? Why am I doing it? And I just felt so compelled because, kind of an answer to your question, most people don't know about this. They don't know that's where our Constitution came from. And it really came from a very beautiful, sacred place and on our land in the New York area. But you can actually Google it. It's all there for us to read about and be amazed, people. Be amazed and be inspired. And even for those who run for office, knowing in their hearts that this is the expectation from the founding fathers. If we don't know about it, oh well, that may be. But I mean, I wish it was something that was taught in school so that we can have that high feeling for our life, for our governing life.
Wow, beautiful. It's extraordinary. And you mentioned several things, and obviously one of the things that because we, as you know, in Mindalia TV, we have a lot of audience coming from the Hispanic world, from Spain, from Latin America. We have in our beautiful country, we have 58 million people that have Latino origin. So that's a lot of people. So immigration is definitely something really, really important, and not only from the Latino countries or Latin America, but for many other places in the world. This is a country that has welcomed people from all over the planet. And that makes the United States of America a very unique country. Mm-hmm. Very, very unique country. That's why it's so special that everybody comes together and, through an intention experiment, through an intention, a love intention of love, through only love, Capitol Hill, and Solo Amor, Capitol Hill. Everybody comes together regardless of their origin, regardless of where they were born, regardless of what generation they are of being born in U.S. soil. It's bringing everybody together. It's considering what makes us be part of the same thing, which is the part of this country, but also of Creator God and of the universe.
Yes, and again, of course, I mean, it's for some reason people have gotten off the track a little bit, thinking some people in our country that, it's sort of a white country or it's a Christian country. A lot of how do I say this politely? People started raising up and getting upset when Obama was elected, because there were people in our country who were sort of thinking, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I thought this was a white country. I thought this was a Christian country. How can we have a black person as our president? So even before our present administration, there was an undercurrent of a negativity rising. And it's unfortunate because, I mean, it's painfully unfortunate. The truth is, though, this is not a Christian country. That is not true. It was based on freedom of religion, and that means Jews are welcome here. It means Muslims are welcome here. It does not just mean people who follow Christ are supposed to be in this country. Yes, of course, those people too, but somehow along the line in the last number of years, this happened. And Norman Lear, the wonderful, wonderful person who did a lot of incredible TV shows, was also a person who started the American Way, because he was a Jew and was fighting in World War II. And all of a sudden he was seen in places where people were talking about Christian, being, being patriotic meant being Christian. And it broke his heart open. And so he was like, whoa, 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 people, this is not the deal. And so he was the founder of the American Way. A lot of people don't know that. So for us to open up again, know that it is that softness, that tenderness again, that allowing. And the only people who really are Americans are the natives. I mean, that's the truth. Everyone else did come here either by choice or by force. So that's the reminder to ring that bell and say, that is ding, 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 ding. I wish I had my Tibetan bells right now, to remind us of that.
Yeah, that's why, diversity and inclusion is so important. It's so important. Just the other day, I was having a conversation with an executive of a worldwide corporation. They're present everywhere. Everybody knows them. Everybody, it's a mass consumption multinational company. And we're talking with someone that has been for 15 years already, I think, involved in the diversity and inclusion. And she's been initiatives, and she's been really deployed to Asia, Southeast Asia, Japan, Europe, you name it. And all the stories that she was making about the richness, of understanding all those cultures, understanding what drives the behavior of every one of us. And as you know, I always like to mention, or to give as an example, my own country, Spain, because we also had, we were a country that we were not ready to receive massive immigration from Africa, from Central Africa, and after that, North of Africa, and the same way, we were originally a very, very strong Catholic country, but one of my best friends was Christian. Well, he's Christian, he was Christian, and we were not that exposed to this diversity. And it wasn't until I got my first job out of Spain in the UK that I started to be exposed with Islam and Muslims. And one of my best friends is still today. He lives in the UK, and you have extraordinary relationship. And, but we always miss that. It's like religion is kind of a taboo as well, that we try not to talk about it because we might hurt some feelings. Maybe I'm going a little bit too deep on things which are very dear to our hearts, but at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We want to be, loved, perceive this love from everybody, but also we love to love. And this is what we are going to do today.
Absolutely. And that's such a beautiful, reminder to us that at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, and all through the day, we have, and this is what I like to say to people about our politicians who've been voted in and who are our representatives, is that they too have mothers and fathers. They have, at some point they did, no matter what happened in their life. And perhaps children, perhaps pets, perhaps, family members, aunties and uncles. And, all people want to breathe clean air. We all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. We all walk on the same earth. And to remind ourselves of that, and that we do want the best for all of us. And, we're knowing more and more that there is no separation. And so, like Mirna, our producer, was saying in the beginning of the show, or before we came on actually, to think of our government failing is like thinking of being in a bus or on a plane and having that person, fall asleep and have the plane crash. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely not.
And knowing that the good is where it's at, brother. Like we used to say, that's where it's at.
Exactly. And now I would like to mention someone that we admire, both Sunny and I. We admire, and this is one of her books. It's called The Power of Eight, and this lady is Lynn McTaggart, and she's also the author of The Intention Experiment. It's something that she's someone that we admire because she does. Really, she helps people harness their miraculous energies all over the world.
Yes.
And that moved us, and we tried to have her with us today. Unfortunately, she had a very busy agenda, but she will be later on with us.
She will indeed.
Exactly. So I just would like to say again, we don't make money out of this, so we just wanted to recommend everybody that if you really want to conduct, a consistent intention experiment, feel free to use what Lynn McTaggart teachings are saying in this book or in the Intention Experiment book, which are both amazing books.
And what that's about, and that's what we're doing today in about 4 minutes. And before we do, I'm going to hope that I can quickly read a conversation I had on a conference call with Barack Obama, is that really we know that we've proven this, or those guys have, Lynn McTaggart, Greg Braden, Dr. Bruce Lipton, James Twyman, where they do these very intensive, focused peace moments, perhaps even for one moment in the Gaza Strip in North Korea, where they've been able to measure that the violence in that area literally stops or goes down for a period of days, weeks even. So they know it, scientifically works. So we're on it. Now, may I read this? I don't want to paraphrase. I want to say what Barack Obama actually said. This was on a conference call, so this is actually notes that I took. But this is what he said to us when we were kind of thrown by what happened in our election, some months ago. This is Barack Obama. He said to us, when we look back at our country's history, there were many periods of darkness as well as light. America has had her share of challenges, having the fortitude to rise to a brighter place with the abolition of slavery, the women's suffrage movement, farm workers' issues, and many more. During my presidency, when events turned bleak, when the political deck was stacked in ways that seemed unnavigable, we still found ways to prevail with the support of you all. Let there be no doubt that even though there will be times of darkness and days to come, you will keep the American promise alive. So I say to you now, when many are despondent and afraid of what the future may hold, don't give up the fight. Stand strong for your beliefs. Be persistent and always keep moving toward dignity and solution. Remember our love of this big, bold country. Take care of each other, and of course, vote. So, yeah, thank you,
awesome.
Brock.
No, please, of course. We are 2 minutes away. So what we're going to do is we are going to have basically we ask everybody to have a love intention. What is a love intention? So basically, where we put our focus is where we put our energy. So Sunny is going to be playing guitar masterfully, and the rest of us we're going to be closing our eyes. We're going to be focusing our energy, or we're going to be focusing our attention, onto our breathing, and then after that we will basically be for 10 minutes sending thoughts of love and light as if they were coming out of our hearts into the capital, where today, the new leaders of our country are going to be sworn in, and we're going to be doing that for 10 minutes.
So what I think I'd like to do is read the number 27, which will really lay out our intention here.
Awesome.
This is the number 27 of the Iroquois Nation Confederacy. Let's see, here we go. All lords of the Five Nations Confederacy must be honest in all things. They must not idle or gossip, but be people possessing those honorable qualities that make true, noble behavior. It shall be a serious wrong for anyone to lead a lord into trivial affairs, for the people must ever hold their lords high in estimation out of respect to their honorable positions. So that is what we are going to know is happening for the many hundreds of people who are in Capitol Hill this very day.
Excellent. So Mirna, if you were kind enough to start timing and to let us know when the 10 minutes are gone, we would appreciate it. So thank you. So the love intention experiment for Capitol Hill, only love Capitol Hill and solo amor Capitol Hill, starts now.
Starting.
believe we are back, everyone. That was our 10 minutes of prayer for our peeps.
Yeah, the peeps that are in Capitol Hill right now. Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., the place where plenty of decisions for the future of us, the people, we the people, are going to be happening.
Yes, and there is some good news to know that does feel expansive to me. I was doing a little research to find out what will be happening today, and there will be a few things that will be voted on and most probably passed because of the balance of power that will now change in the next 20 minutes or so, and then throughout the day and the next 2 years. So 2 issues that will be dealt with pretty swiftly and immediately. One is to not get into the weeds, but basically to shore up the ethics laws in our country. So I say, amen and applause to that. Also addressing some ecology issues immediately, environmental issues, and of course the immigration situation. So those were going to be dealt with, I understand, today. So we will know that the highest and best can happen. You were asking me earlier about the, just kind of how I researched this and everything, because it was very, very difficult. I mean, I was in tears at sometimes because I thought, how do I represent properly? And it's such a big, it's so fascinating to read all of the articles and to know what this is all about. And what I did find, you were so loving that word tenderness. And of course, when I read it, it is translated into English. So it's, there's an element of a separate, what do I want to say? Kind of like when you copy things, it doesn't have all the grit there or whatever. What I found myself doing, because it was so much information, was I just read the articles, again, 117 of them, and I just read them. And as I was reading them, I had this big piece of paper next to me, like, how kids do watercolors, those big papers. And I just, as different words came, honor, respect, loyalty, they have a nobility. There's a word that I actually used in this that they use. It's pronounced, it's Rayaneh, which I believe is pronounced Rayana, and it is it means noble or nobility, but not in the way of like a king and queen, in the most honorable way. And so I found the words. That's what helped me so much, was just to write down, forward thinking, all of that. And some of the words I even used when I read these two, with people, it shall be a serious wrong for anyone to lead a lord into trivial affairs, for the people must ever hold their lords high in estimation, out of respect to their honorable positions. That is what we know to be true in this country, and that is why there's a lot of decorum in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And that's how our country was based, that we had the judicial system, the legislative system, and the executive. And originally, we weren't even going to have a president. That was kind of an afterthought. It was like, well, should we have a guy, or, of course, a guy at that point, but we don't want him to be a king. We don't want that kind of energy. So should we have an executive branch? But they must, at all costs, at all steps of the way, have the judicial and the legislative watching their every move. So that's what our peeps are going to be doing starting in 15 minutes.
You know what I was thinking about when you were mentioning the word noble, and we talked about tenderness before. Noble is one of those words that I think throughout time it has lost its power. It's not as present. There's this interesting, curious tool on Google. When you Google a word, Google tells you how much that word has been used. And noble is that, we're used to hear, to listen the word noble in a lot of movies, in specific setups, settings, excuse me, but not anymore. I mean, who talks about, hey, we should be more noble.
Yes.
We should have that value. Even describing it, most of the people would have challenges. But noble is when I think of noble, actually it transcends my own individuality. That's what I think about when and probably when you were researching, you found not only noble, but many other words that meant a lot to you, right?
Oh my gosh. And that's why, yes. I mean, like I'm looking at this. Oh, and also in what I found very interesting in the Iroquois Nation, again, the oldest living participatory democracy on earth. It's still living, guys. It's still in practice, is particular, the Haudenosaunee. And a lot of it is with the women being the moral compass. So it speaks, okay, so here's another place where this is number 53, where it says, when the I pronounce this difficultly, Rayaha, or the noble women holders of a lordship title, select one of their sons as a candidate, they shall select one who is trustworthy, of good character, of honest disposition, one who manages his own affairs, supports his own family, and if any and who has proven a faithful man to his nation. So it really is going so deep. And when you're speaking of words in general, I think it's so important. We know the power of the word. And, sometimes people will say things and, I may even correct them. They'll say, oh gosh, I want to kill that person. And I'm like, and they say, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, not really. I mean, cancel. What, you're hurt by their, you have hurt feelings. I mean, go into what it really is. And I think that's an opportunity for all of us to really listen to what we say, and also to pay attention to what words and books and things that we read, that we allow in, so we can be inspired by all the amazing people like Lynn McTaggart, who are beautiful writers and have great impact in our lives.
Absolutely.
Or can, if we let them in.
Exactly. And again, let me show the cover of her book again, The Power of Eight. She has been able to organize, literally thousands of Power of Eight groups. So this means groups of 8 people that meet, in different, different frequencies, or it can be, every day, or it can be, once a week, but they all intend for something specific.
Yes.
And as you were saying also before, she has also organized worldwide, experiments for lowering the levels of violence in the specific areas that were being, were in war, for instance, war zones in the planet. So I would really like to, again, as both Sunny and I, we are exposed to a lot of knowledge and amazing people that we have been blessed interviewing and talking and chatting. And she's one of them. She's someone that has and is contributing to the peace in our world every single day,
and making it happen. Another person that we're show and telling today. I just happen to have this next to me, and this is Marianne's book, Marianne Williamson's book that she wrote many years ago, and it's called "Healing the Soul of America: Reclaiming Our Voices as Spiritual Citizens." And I used to. When I first met her, I was just always bugging her about this book because I loved this book so much. And when it came out, it didn't sell very well at all because people thought of her as a spiritual person. But this was much more sort of political and speaking about slavery in our country and the Vietnam War and Native Americans, and really getting down in it and talking about how all of those elements that really healing the soul of America and showing us how important it is to heal so that we can go, jump higher and be bigger and have a higher wingspan and all of that. And she has now, after much prodding and everything, she's brought it out again. So it has a new release and stuff. I think it's super important because it explains to a lot of our viewers, I think, who are out there, And we found this a lot with her. She ran for Congress here in America, that people who are spiritual, sacred, beautiful beings sometimes feel so repelled by the political world. And what she's here to say, what Lynn McTaggart's here to say, what we're saying today, and have been when we've been talking about Solo Amor, Capitol Hill, is that it's all part of it. It's not separate. It's not nasty or bad toxic stuff. If we raise in, if you guys replay this show and listen to the quotes that we read from the different people, you know, it's tying it all together. It's all part of it. It's not separate at all. So that's why you know, that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's why we know that we, as the sacred manifestors, you know, we're those peeps, you know, we're those guys that know about manifesting, that know about the power of intention, who know about the power of love. And you know, let's be the Haudenosaunee peeps. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. And now in 2019, we have the opportunity.
Exactly. And actually, we were talking before the show, and we would like to make this year, both Sunny and I, we would like to make this year an intentional year.
Yes.
An intentional year in which we really make a difference, you know, from our humble positions here at Mindalia TV and elsewhere. When we started this, Sunny and I, we created several social media outlets. They're called, you know, Only Love Capitol Hill or Solo Amor Capitol Hill. You will find us, you know, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and you know, we really welcome, you know, all your collaboration, all your thoughts, all your inspiration. Again, it's being intentional and changing things through love is something that, you know, it's a responsibility of all of us, and we do it from a place of love, without judgment, of surrendering without judgment. You know, that sometimes it's difficult, without judgment, and just, you know, wishing the best, sending all the unconditional love as much as we can to the people that, you know, will run the future of our country. And I think we're going to do something special every single day moving forward, Sunny.
Yes, we will. And we know that we have that power. And that is, I think, the most important thing that we're going to be playing with and fluffing up is turning that dense fear or anxiety or feeling of futility to fluffy action. You know, let's shake it up, let's break it up, let's rock it up. Let's bring it in our new year. And because we do have the power. We have the power of one, and we have the power of intention, we have the power of connection, and we have the power of love, and, you know, Solo Amor.
Exactly. Solo Amor. Absolutely. You know what? I know that you, the other day, you were really, really kind, and I would really love to end our show today with some more of your performance, if it's possible. If it's possible.
Oh my goodness. Let's see, what will I do? I think I'll do a little bit of, and it's so funny because it's super cold where I am, so my little fingers are, you know, kind of warming up here.
Same here.
But I think I will do a little bit of something I must pull together here quickly. And oh, by the way, we want to also mention that we have many people who did join with us and saying that they wanted to be part of our thing, which is Stuart Pierce and, you know, many, many other people like that. So we love that. And I'm just going to do a little bit of what I was playing before, just so you guys know. I was playing Blackbird by the Beatles for the New Day, and I was playing a little bit of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dream that we dare to dream really can come true.
Awesome. Thank you for allowing me to be so demanding with you. But you know, music, as you know, music has its power, has its magic. Music
Yes.
is actually, music helps a lot for intending, for being in a place of love, and for wishing our new Congress to outperform our expectations, to be above our expectations, to be in a place of finding commonalities, finding what unites us as a country every single day that they meet and they discuss and they negotiate.
And they are doing it, and we know they are, and we will continue being sort of there with them. And Angel, I love your idea of having our projects all throughout the year. And like Lynn McTaggart, she will be here in the next couple weeks, I'm told, so we will be able to do that. But I think guys, you can send your ideas too. If you have something specific that you feel, you can send it to me at sunny@let'simagine.live, and of course to Mindalia TV and all that. But yeah, just let's all be together with this. Let's have some fun with this.
Exactly. Anywhere else where people can find you, Sunny?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, wholelifetimes.com, ABC on Solutionary Sundays on Sunday, and of course here next week on Thursday, and UBN Go in Sunset Gower Studios here in Hollywood, but that's also on YouTube. So you can just Google me and Sunny Chayes, Chayes, and a whole bunch of stuff's there. So the articles are there, all kinds of fun.
Excellent. Well,
Yummy
so
stuff.
beautiful. Thank you. So, thank you very much, Sunny, for being with us today again with a terrific show today. We're starting something really important. And again, we're just conduits of the greatness of the people in this country. That's who we are.
Yes.
From a place of humility, love, and acceptance. That's it.
Knowing we are always our better angels. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We're sad.
So only love, solo amor.
Only love, solo
amor. Thank you very much. Again, this is Angel Riba with Mindalia TV. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us today. Thank you for joining us on this love intention experiment for the new Congress. And we hope to see you soon again. We'll be with Sunny again, of course, next Thursday. God bless you. God bless America. God bless this country. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.